The first round of Super Rugby playoffs is behind us. Now the Brumbies and the Sharks came out victorious. Joining me in studio is Sport24 editor Garen and chief writer Rob. Now both of these guys correctly predicted the outcome of the games I just mentioned. Hello guys!
Hello Jen.
Okay, both of you correctly predicted the games that I just mentioned in my intro. Garen, why don't you take us through the first game?
Yeah, it was a very tight game. I was actually quite surprised by the Chiefs. They hadn't played great rugby heading into these playoffs, but they really surprised me. They hadn't won a game outside of New Zealand all tournament, so I didn't really expect them to get up and win this one. But they went behind to a really early fifth-minute yellow card. A little bit controversial there. Craig Jabir, the South African referee, not really warning the Chiefs at all. And they conceded 14 points in the first 10 minutes, and they're playing catch-up the entire match. But to their credit, they did just that, and they drew level, I think, on 2 occasions in the second half. Just ran out of steam at the end. They had a conversion of a late try that would have actually leveled the scores, but Aaron Cruden, the Chiefs fly-half, missed that, so they went down 32-30. The Brumbies, for their part, they looked really impressive at times. They've scored some really good tries this year. I don't know, Rob probably agrees. The Australian teams have shown great attacking flair in this tournament. They've scored some long-range tries, which we haven't really seen from Australian teams in the past. It's normally like a New Zealand thing. Their backline players showing fantastic X-factor, if you like. But the Australian teams have really stepped up this year. I thought the Brumbies were really good in parts, but also credit to the Chiefs for playing away from home, but not giving up, not lying down. So they'll be holding their heads high this morning as well.
Rob, you also correctly predicted this match. Any high points for you?
I just thought the way the Chiefs came back made for a really dramatic game. At one stage, as Garen said, it looked as though the Brumbies were actually going to run away with it a lot more convincingly, and that would have been a little bit of an upset because I think both of us tipped a really close game, and of course it did end up being, they shared something like 62 points, and there was a 2 points difference on the scoreboard. So that told you everything about what a tight game it was in the end. Typical sort of Antipodean rugby, if you like, wasn't it, Garen? I mean, it didn't have too many of the characteristics of a South African game, where sort of forward domination and sort of a real, bump and grind is the whole, the sort of prevailing theme. Much more open than that, made for quite a good spectacle. Didn't surprise me too much, though, that the Brumbies did advance. They, of course, now move on to a derby against the Waratahs in Sydney. So that's a big game. Already talk of 35,000, perhaps, or more in Sydney for that game. So maybe in the end, the right result from an Australian sort of interest point of view.